Good afternoon, welcome back to the Circuito de Albacete. It's the penultimate round of the FIM CEV Repsol Championship, and it's time for the Junior World Championship action to commence. Just 3 races remaining in this category, and this will be a pivotal one with Jeremy Alko looking to wrap up the Moto3 Junior World Championship. He put himself in pole position thanks to, well, a champion's ride in Jerez 2 weeks ago. A double podium finish for him now sees him 37 points clear of his nearest rival, Carlos Tatai, who was in imperious form. Just a few weeks on from wrapping up the Red Bull Rookies Championship, Tatai, the number 99, got a double victory in Jerez. Was over 8 seconds clear in the first race. He was forced to work a little bit hard, but nevertheless, as we got into the closing stages, he showed his pace and he showed his prowess to break clear after a little bit of the game halfway through the race. The podium battle was a little bit more intense though, with the likes of Alko, as we mentioned, and Yamanaka all contending for the podium. Yamanaka's teammate Holgado was one of the men to crash out, but in the end, Tatai took the double victory, with Yamanaka clinching second ahead of Alcove in race number 2. Alcove starts this one from pole position though, a 3rd pole of the year, and well, we'll get into the mathematics needed in a few moments' time, but first off, here is the Circuito de Albacete if you're joining us for the first time. Just over 3.5 kilometres in length. It's tight, it's twisty, it's fast, it's flowing. It's got just about everything. A superb circuit, and there's 19 laps ahead for the Moto3 Junior World Championship riders.
Yeah, cracking little circuit. We were out there yesterday, and there's plenty of opportunities to pass. There's slipstream opportunities, there's twists, there's turns. It's a great little circuit, old school circuit. World Superbikes used to come here in the 90s for between 1992 and 1999. As we see air temperature rising towards the mid-20s. Perfect conditions really for all 3 classes today. Barely any winds, not too hot, so they can go out and enjoy themselves before they head to Valencia for the season finale. But yeah, like you say, Jack, Alcove gets his first chance to win the title here in Albacete, and I think you've got the maths in front of you. I have.
I've worked hand and fist over this maths, so fingers crossed it all makes sense. So, Alcove starts from pole position. If he wins the race, he will be declared champion. If Carlos Tatai finishes outside of the top 4, so 5th or lower, and Xavier Tigas fails to finish on the podium. Now, Xavier Tigas failing to finish on the podium does look rather likely, because the man who's currently 3rd in the championship had a disastrous Friday. During free practice, he had a big off at turn 10, a huge high side that spat him over the top, and he landed heavily on his back. As a result, he was pretty wounded, and he only completed 6 laps yesterday, so he will start from the last row of the grid. He said yesterday that he just wasn't comfortable at all on the bike, but he wanted to put at least some laps in, gritted his teeth to make sure he was on the grid, and he was hoping today will be a better day for him, but he has got a whole host of work ahead of him. It looks like the only man that can deny Alcove from winning the championship here today will be Tatai. It'll start from 4th on the grid. Meanwhile, let's jump on board with one of the junior talent team members, the Australian Billy Van Erde, for a lap of Albacete. We're into turn number 6 here, onto the back straight. Wind it up before then flicking left through turn number 7, up to 4th, just down the box to 3rd before the fast kink of turn number 7. Hard on the brakes for turn 8. Down 2 gears, they just flick up into 4th before then going back down to 2nd for this long left-hander of turn number 8. Into turn 9 now, just a little right kink before then getting hard on the brakes once more, and down to 1st gear right-hander of turn 10. This is where we've seen a couple of guys high side. Arty, as we mentioned, and Barry Vultures as well, both went down. Good place to get a bit of a slipstream. As you can see, Billy Van Erde was just closing in on the men ahead of him. Just trying to see exactly who that is. I think it's his teammate Haruki Noguchi.
I
And
think it's
one of
Salvador on the red machine.
yeah, one of the Cunha de Campeones guys. Into the final bit of that. That's the penultimate corner, turn 13, the left-hander then onto the right-hand side of the tyre for turn 14. The final corner, get it up onto the curbs on the left-hand side. And then you'll come over at the start-finish line. That is the Circuito de Albacete. Wonderfully demonstrated by Billy Van Erde, who incidentally will start this one from slightly further down the grid, 23rd for Billy on his first visit to the circuit.
He was in the top 10 in warm-up, so showed good pace this morning, so hopefully he can battle his way towards the points, which will be a good result for the reigning Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup champion.
So here is your championship leader then, Jeremy Alcoba. Just the one win to his name in 2019, but he's been so consistent. 7 podium finishes, and you see he's never been out of the top 6, not one single DNF to his name. He's been off the podium just twice. The reason that he's leading the championship by 37 points is not because he's gone out and picked up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 race wins. It's because week in, week out, he's been in the top group, and whilst other riders have had off days, other riders have been caught up in incidents here and there. He's had his fortune, but he's always made sure he's been out of trouble. One man that unfortunately hasn't avoided trouble this year is this man, Denis Ernchu, doing his best impression of Eminem with that bleach blonde hair. We'll start from the front row of the grid, not for the first time this year. He's been pretty good on a Saturday, is Denis Ernchu. 5 front row starts to his name, but his best performance so far came last time out in Jerez. A best ever Junior World Champions result of 4th. Unbelievably, and it does surprise me, and I'm sure you as well, he's never stood on a podium in the Junior World Championship as Denis Ernchu, despite showing so much pace at every round throughout free practice and qualifying. He's just yet to pull it together on a Sunday.
Yeah, likewise with his twin brother Chan, their 2 Turks are the next big things in motorcycle racing, or 2 of the next big things in motorcycle racing. So yeah, good to see Denis in the middle of this front row of the grid. So hopefully for Denis' sake he can challenge for, well, yeah, his first podium. Unbelievable that he hasn't already achieved one. We just saw there Barry Bautas, like you say, Jack, he crashed on the exit of turn 10. A big high side for him, but luckily he's okay to start. P4 in the championship. He is one of the riders who can still mathematically beat Alko, although it's very unlikely. But here is the man in form, let's say, your double race winner from Jerez, Carlos Tatai.
Tatai already got his seat in the 2020 World Championship confirmed with that same team, the Real Avinti Junior squad, as has Barry Baltus incidentally as well. And we're moving up with the Redox Prestel squad that at the moment Philip Salach and Jakob Kornfeil are riding for. Another man that we'll see in the 2020 World Championship is Ryusuke Yamanaka, 17-year-old Japanese rider. Will take the seat of Sergio Gar. No, he won't. He'll take the seat of Alonso Lopez. I did that in Jerez as well, getting them both mixed up. He'll take the seat of Alonso Lopez. He'll move on to the Sterile Garda Max Racing team. He'll make his World Championship, fully fledged World Championship debut in 2020. He's already had a couple of wild cards to his name, and he'll add another one to his list in just a week's time. This time next week, he's flying out to Motegi and will take part in his home rounds there as part of the Japanese Grand Prix.
He certainly will, yeah. He's one to look for the future for sure. DNF at Albacete in 2018, so he's looking strong to not have a repeat of that this time around. And yeah, like you say, Jack, here is Davide Pizzoli.
Pizzoli himself was in Thailand last week, filling in the 658 Squadra Corsa squad for the injured Niccolo Antonelli. He's been pretty good on a Saturday, never failed to qualify outside of the front 3 rows of the grid. He's on the 2nd row of the grid this time around in 6th place. Picked up a couple of podiums so far this year. Incidentally, rode really well in Thailand as well. Just missed out on a point by 1 position. 16th across the line was Pizzoli. Meanwhile, here's the man that will sit in 7th on the grid, Gerard Rieu. Yet to jump onto a podium so far this year.
Yeah, best of 4th in Barcelona, so finished just off the podium there in P14 at Albacete last year. So starting from the front of row 3, he can expect to improve on that. He can hopefully challenge for the top 5 for Gerard Ryu's sake.
There is Dennis Earnchu's Red Bull backed helmet, the number 53, part of the IO Junior squad. There's another of the men that was in Thailand as well, with Jan, twin brother Jan, just continuing to recover from a broken collarbone. He should be fit and back in action in Motegi next week. Here's Aleix View, another man that had a bit of a go in the World Championship at the start of the year. Albert Arenas out injured due to a quite severe cycling accident, so he got the opportunity to race in Argentina, and Austin did Aleix View in between the Estoril rounds and Valencia rounds as well. Another man that really hasn't kicked into gear in 2019. Picked up his best result in Valencia, a 5th, but he's always been there or thereabouts, but a couple of crashes, maybe not just putting a full weekend together, meant that he hasn't challenged throughout the year. He actually picked up a race victory in 2018, was one of the leading riders, but just hasn't kicked into gear for him so far this year. But that's his second best qualifying of 2019. Hopefully he can bounce on from that. Another man that is banging form at the moment is this man, Jose Julian Garcia. Had the ride of his life in Thailand last week, deputising for Romano Fanati in the Viennese sniper squad. Just missed out on Q2 after setting the exact same time as Philip Salac, so he had to start the race from 19th on the grid, but made a rocket start and was even up to 7th ahead of Aaron Canet after a move at turn 1 in the opening 4 or 5 laps at Buriram. And then a big moment at turn 1 saw him run wide, and he was shuffled back to just outside of the points, and then unfortunately crashed out whilst trying to fight his way back through the field. But it was a superb performance from the man, making a wild card appearance in the Junior World Championship. Here's the first of the Junior Talent Team riders, part of the Asia Talent Team squad. Haruki Noguchi, the number 32. A former, or two-time, should I say, Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup runner-up, did it in 2017, and then again in 2018 behind Billy Van Erde.
Yeah, he had a good performance in Jerez, did Noguchi, a double top 10, best of P6. He qualified 19th at the Circuito de Jerez Angel Nieto, so a great couple of rides there for the Junior Talent Team rider. As we look at David Salvador, the number 38, 2 7ths in Jerez, so solid top 10 performances from him. The man 12th in the championship, best of P6 incidentally, so just missing out on equaling his best result last time out, and he was 2nd in last year's ETC race here in Albacete, so he's got podium pedigree around this circuit. So what can he do from row 4 on the grid?
Visor down, thumbs up from Jeremy Alcoba. Starts from pole position for the 3rd time in 2019. The equation is complicated, but all he can do from pole is go out and try and win the race, and then see if his closest championship contenders, Carlos Tatai, Xavi Artigas behind, can contend with him. Here's one of the youngest men on the grid, Daniel Holgado. Podium finish in Valencia at the first round that he could actually compete in. He was too young in Estoril to jump onto the grid, so that's why he has no points or no finishes to his name in Portugal. Surprisingly, moving away from the Estrella Galicia Junior Talent Team in 2020, has already signed a deal to join the Angel Nieto Junior squad, and incidentally with Barry Baltus on the front row of the grid. I've not seen him today, but the boss man, Jorge Martinez Aspar himself, was here yesterday and watching with Nico Terol, who is the rider coach for that squad, helping out the likes of Aleix View, Barry Baltus and Max Koffler that all ride for the Angel Nieto Junior squad. Here's Super Mario Adjip.
Best of P4 for Super Mario this year, coming at the opening round in Estoril in the damp conditions. He crashed out, unfortunately for him. I think, top 5 position he crashed out of in Jerez on the opening exchanges in race 1, so that was unlucky for the Indonesian rider. But here we go, here's your starting grid then. Your championship leader and your pole sitter, Jeremy Alcoba, sits on pole from Dennis Earnchu, and Barry Baltus on the row 1. Row 2 is Carlos Tatai, Usi Yamanaka and Davide Pizzoli, and row 3 is led by Gerard Ryu with Aleix View next to him and Jose Garcia completing that row.
Back a further grid, row number 4, David Salvador, Haruki Noguchi and Daniel Holgado. Row number 5, Mario Adji, Jason DePasquier and Adrian Fernandez, the younger brother of the reigning junior world champion Ralph Fernandez. How much longer will we be able to say that? A further row back is Julian Giral, Pedro Acosta and Vicente Perez.
Junior talent teams, Matt Cook leads Kawakami and Pataka on row 7. Row 8 is Ikmal Van Erdy and Scott Ogden, the British Talent Cup champion from 2019. Behind them is Izan Ikmal, Fenton Seabright and Max Koffler.
On to row 10, Mahadi, Verdugo and Watley. Row 11, Jespersen, Uriarte, Bettelli. And row number 12, Arita, Vostatek and that man, Xavi Artigas. The battered, the bruised Xavi Artigas. And there's his teammate, Alex Diest as well. Another of the Leopard Junior Talent Team riders who also had a big off at turn 6 yesterday. Qualifying the second session was caused to be red flags after he just got onto the dirt out on the exit of turn number 6, and he was spat over the top and had a big crash himself. So fingers crossed he will be able to form the grid as someone just comes
that was one of
past
the
us.
Andreas Perez Foundation machines. Not sure who it was. Could have been.
Don't think it's Tatai.
No, I don't think it was.
Number 99 is there in your picture, so if it wasn't Tatai, it won't have been his teammate either.
Maybe Pedro Acosta.
No, Pedro Acosta is there. So it looks like it could have been Marcos Uriarte, number 89, who has just undergone a couple of problems on the first lap. So here we go then. The championship equation is, well, I was going to say quite simple, but it's not. Jeremy Alcove, 37 points clear. There's 2 races in Valencia, in 4 weeks' time. So he has to be 51 points clear. He can't be 50 points clear because he's only picked up 1 victory. And obviously there's 2 remaining in Valencia. So he won't win the championship out of race victories if he is 50 points clear. He has to be 51 points clear if he is to be crowned champion here in Albacete. That is not the championship picture. He's not 50 points clear at the moment.
37 is the gap to Carlos Tatai, and Barry Bautas is actually 4th in the championship, not 3rd.
Xavi Artigas, who sits 3rd at the moment, 40 points adrift of Alcoba, 3 behind Tatai, but it looks as though that 3rd place in the championship might well be up for grabs because the reigning, or the former European Talent Cup champion has to start from 36 on the grid. Denis Ernchu gets himself nice and pumped up. A fist across the chest. A big performance is needed from the Turk. Yet to stand on a Junior World Championship podium. Is today the day for the talented Turk? Meanwhile, Alcoba starts from pole position and gets a great jump. The number 52 flies away. It's a long run down to turn 1, but surely nobody's going to be able to get in front of him. He's already got a bike length over Inchu and Bautas in 2nd and 3rd. Meanwhile, there comes Tatai bundling through from the 2nd row of the grid to take 2nd. Yamanaka will try and hold out around the outside, but it's Tatai that'll secure 3rd place, as Yamanaka has to give way and take 4th. But Tatai is already looking to try and close in onto the rear wheel of Bautas because the leading duo have got themselves into a rhythm nice and early.
Yeah, the perfect start, exactly what Alcoba would have been looking for off the line, the perfect getaway. Onto not getting a good start from the middle of the front row. He got slightly bogged down, but nevertheless he is still in 5th, so not all is lost for the Turk.
As they go through turn number 6 for the first time, that looks like it's a good start coming from Max Cook aboard the British Talent Team machine. He's just making his way up the inside of another rider, so he may well have got himself up into 15th early on. Meanwhile, at the front, it's your championship leader, Alcoba, that leads the way. Bautas settled into 2nd place is the Belgian rider, and then Tatai in 3rd, Yamanaka in 4th, and Denis Ernchu there in 5th. But Tatai has already done the dirty work on this opening half a lap and has closed in onto the rear wheel. Meanwhile, that's a super start coming in from Haruki Noguchi, the Japanese rider, having started from the 4th row of the grid. He's up there into 6th already. Super start from the Japanese star.
Yeah, great start. he started from 11th place, just outside the top 10. So another cracking start, just like we saw in the ref. He came from 19th into the top 10. He's doing it again here in Albacete, but it is Alcove, the championship leader, who leads over the line from Barry Vultures, but Carlos Tat is right with him. He needs to get into second. Is he going to go for it? He's going to have a look, but not quite that time. A little bit too far back for the double race winner in Jerez, but he is there from 4th to 3rd on the opening lap as Yamanaka and Dennis Ernchu sitting behind him.
Jose Garcia settled into the back of this leading 7 riders at the moment that have just got about half a second over the next man along, Davide Pizzoli. It's less than that now, about 2 or 3 tenths, but Garcia incidentally has swapped teams for this round and for the rest of the season. He's now on board the TM, the Italian squad that did have Kevin Zanoni with them. Zanoni not here this weekend, so as a result, Jose Garcia has jumped onto that machine and he's riding it pretty well at the moment.
Here's Vultures just having a little bit of a look at the inside of Alcove. Got the run down through turn 7 into turn 8, but didn't quite make the move stick. Early doors yet, 18 laps to go, so there's plenty of time for Vultures to try and make that move, but it's Tat we've got to look out for here. He needs to be the one to beat Alcove in this race before the final 2 races of the season in Valencia, but it's Alcove who leads. A great start from the number 52, from the number 7, and it's a trio of KTMs who are leading the Honda of Yamanaka, who is looking spicy up the inside of Tat. Is he going to do it there? Not quite this lap around.
No way through. Holgado, there's another of the Estrella Galicia guys that have managed to fight the way through. Up to 6 at the moment, onto the rear wheel of Dennis Ernchu. Don't discount him, he's certainly got a fire in the belly as the young Spaniard. As they come across the line now, that's 2 laps completed. Alcova still leading the way. Tat sweeping left, then right as he tries to hold off Yamanaka, but instead Tat is the man to make a move. Up the inside of Barry Vultures to take 2nd place, eyeing the man that he's trying to hunt down in the championship now. 2nd for Tat, with only Alcova ahead of him.
Yeah, looking strong into turn 1 is Tat, and is he going to look at turn 4? He is. What a move from the Spaniard. He is making ends meet of this race, and he is now your race leader. Importantly for the championship and importantly for Tat, he is now ahead of Alcove, but Alcove is going to try and fight back surely straight away to not allow Tat, like he did in Jerez in both races, just to break clear of the pack, but it's not looking like he's got that sort of pace this weekend, but we'll wait and see. But for Alcove, he's going to try and bite back straight away, but it's not going to have it easy because Vultures, Yamanaka, Dennis Ernchu, Holgado, there's a whole host of riders who are waiting in the wings to try and battle for that podium position, but it's Tat who now leads the way.
So it's a leading group at the moment, all the way back to Julian Giral in 13th. He's the man just on the back of your picture there, the blue and reds, the 3rd of the Estrella Galicia bikes that are in this leading gaggle of 13 riders. Currently been led by Carlos Tat. We're into the final sector. That's the right kink of turn 12 now. On to the brakes for turn 13, and things stay as they are, with Tat leading the way, eyeing up a 3rd consecutive race win in this Junior World Championship and a 4th of the season. But Alcove has different plans as he pulls out of the slipstream and ahead of the number 99. Vultures looking to make his way through as well, but no room for the Belgian to squeeze past Tat as well. So Alcove now back at the front here in Albacete.
Yeah, this is exactly the scrap we were after in this race, the championship scrap between the top 2 in the standings. It's Tat versus Alcove here in Albacete, but it's not just between them 2. There's a KTM behind him in Barry Bass, who still has a mathematical chance, like I mentioned on the grid, of taking the title away from Alcove, but that is very unlikely at the minute. But let's concentrate on this race. Who's that? Oh, it's one of the talent team riders. It's Bill Van Aert, who's gone down. Not sure what corner that is. I think it looks like turn 3. I think it
turn 3 maybe, yeah, but Billy Van Aert disappointingly gone down. He was the man that we had the on-board lap with earlier. Disappointing that one of the junior talent team guys has gone down. Just 1 round left for him now. Meanwhile, as Vultures makes a move, slips up the inside, held a great line, but fights back almost immediately. There's Carlos Tat to retake 2nd place, and Alcove will be rubbing his hands together behind if those 2 can continue to fight like they are. Yeah,
that's exactly what Alcove will want. Not that he's concentrating on behind at the minute. He's racing for the lead, but yeah, Tat and Vultures can't get tangled up. That is the last thing that they will need to do. But there's 2 Estrella Galicia boys who are looking on fire in this race. Yamanaka looking up the inside of Vultures. I think he's going to make it stick this time around into left-hander. Yes, he is. Good move from the Japanese rider. He's now in the final podium position as we come round to complete another lap with 15 laps to go as we cross the line, and it's Tat who's tucking into the tailpipes of the championship leader, new race leader. Is he going to make a move in turn one? He's looked strong in this opening race at this corner, and I think he might do yet. P1 for Tat Side.
Well, for the third lap in a row, there's a change of the lead in turn number one. Tat Side got ahead of Alcove, then Alcove bit back, and now Tat Side wants to lead the running of this one. And the pair of them scrapping it out of a vital championship points. I was going to say that the leading five have managed to detach themselves, but it looks as though Garcia has just managed to tag on to this leading five. It's about half a second then from the rear wheel of Garcia back to Dennis Earnshaw, the number 53 there, with Earnshaw glued to his tank on that KTM, just as he tries to get back with the leading group of riders. Meanwhile, Tat Side still leads the way though. Alcove doesn't have to get himself off the bike. He's got such a high energy style as Jeremy Alcove. He's been in this championship for quite a number of years now, fighting it out in 2016 where he eventually finished 11th in the Junior World Championship. 2017 he finished 5th, 4th in 2018. Meanwhile, riders that he's been battling year after year have been given opportunities to fight in the World Championship. He's had to bide his time. Finally, it looks as though he's making the most of these opportunities. And he's looking to wrap up a Junior World Championship, which only spells good things. The amount of riders that have won this series over years, the likes of Alex Rins, Alex Marquez, Fabio Quartararo, of course, the only man to win it twice in 2013 and 2014, and in recent years, Ralph Fernandez. A few others. Oh, Mario Adji's gone down. Oh, that's such a disastrous start to the race for the junior talent team crew. Not only has Billy Van Erde hit the deck, but now Super Mario has gone down as well.
Yeah, not good for the junior talent team on these opening laps in Albacete. That's 2 down already. There's only 3 left standing, but it's Alcoba who retakes the lead at turn 1 again. We see the turn 1 move. It's probably the easiest place to pass after the slipstream down the home straight, but Tat Side is going to tuck in and going to try and get back at Alcove as soon as possible. Who we're focusing on here, it's the number 38 of David Salvador. He started from row 4, so he's slipped back just a little bit in these opening couple of exchanges. We focus now on the lead group of 5 or 6 who have, yeah, like you say, just edging clear of Dennis Earnshaw in 7th. He's not quite got the pace of these leading riders at the minute, but all is not lost for that number 53 Red Bull machine there. You can just see in the background, just off the number 20 of Garcia as we flick into turn 11. Then we go through this kink at turn 12, and then here is another one of the prime passing opportunities as Yamanaka hints at a pass under Tat Side, but not quite this lap. Yamanaka is looking good here. Jack, number 6 rider in 3rd place, had a cracking ride in Jerez to a podium place. He won in Valencia, so ahead of his wildcard appearance in Japan, he's looking to get a good result. Is he going to get the slipstream down into turn 1? Is Tat Side going to get the slipstream down into turn 1? Yes, he is. Again, we see the pass at turn 1, and it's Yamanaka who also gets through an Alcove. So Alcove slips from P1 to P3 in a matter of a corner, and it's now Tat Side who leads again.
So Carlos Tat Side back at the front of this Junior World Championship race. Ryusi Yamanaka into 2nd now. Alcoba demoted to 3rd, but it won't worry him too much. We've still got 13 laps remaining. You have to see Barry Baltus, Holgado and Garcia that are in this leading group of 6 riders properly get into the scrap just yet. Meanwhile, you can see Julian Giral. Sorry, no, the number 67 is Gerard Riou. Got in front of Dennis Earnshaw, who again, not for the first time this year, after having qualified really well, is just unable to live with the pace with the riders at the front, and he's slipping backwards, and it looks as if he's holding guys up because Holgado got in front of him and caught up to the leading group. Jose Julian Garcia did exactly the same, and now it looks like Gerard Riou's doing it as well. So it's another disappointing Sunday so far for Dennis Earnshaw. Yeah,
it's not looking good for Turk, who's had numerous wildcard appearances in place of his brother Chan after, like we mentioned, Earnshaw got injured in
Here comes
Misano.
Yamanaka, big move up the inside from Yamanaka. That's the 2nd time he's found a way through at turn 13. This time he makes it stick for the lead. past Carlos Tatai then, who now I'm sure will have Jeremy Alcoba for company very shortly indeed, as they come across the line to complete lap number 7 of 19 here in Albacete, and they are 3 abreast across the line. Alcoba swings from right to left to retake control of the race, with Yamanaka demoted from 1st to 4th in this split second, as Vultures was able to pounce on the Japanese rider as well.
It was. All this scrapping has allowed Gerard Rio, the number 67 there, to get right in with this guy, and it was also allowing Dennis Earnshaw to catch up. So look at that. Yep, we've got a lead group of about 13, 14 riders, I think, down to 1st to 14th is all in with a chance of the podium as we get treated to an absolute classic here in Albacete. But again, it's championship leader Koba who leads from Tatai and Vultures.
Well, we wrote off Dennis Earnshaw way too early, which we know we shouldn't have done. Meanwhile, that's Yamanaka there that was looking rather exuberant. He tried to find a line through on Barry Baltus ahead of him. Garcia's just picking his way through on the TM. This is the best performance we've seen by that machine this year by a long way. Kevin Zanoni, who's the reigning Italian Moto3 champion, very good rider, but was just unable to get the best out of the TM. Meanwhile, Garcia has jumped on it and is flying on board of it. Up to 5th already, and he's all over the rear wheel of Yamanaka ahead of it.
Yeah, well, like we mentioned, he had a great ride in Thailand, didn't he? Did Garcia, and he's looking to bring that form over into the Junior World Championship, and he is doing so far. The number 20 looking good on that TM machine, as Alcoba has a little bit of an advantage coming onto this as we tick over with 11 laps to go. I don't think Tatai is going to be quite close enough in the slipstream to make a move. No, he's not, but he's about to get Tatai. No, he isn't. So for the first time, I think this race, there's been no moves for the race lead at turn 1, but they are all tightly packed together as we see still a lead group of 14 riders back down there to the red machine of David Salvador. Come around the
Gerard Rio squeezing his way past Garcia, who'll hold the inside line through turn 5. That's not helping either of them, because it's just allowing the front 5 just to edge ever so slightly clear, but they're back at it now as Garcia looks over his shoulder and shakes his head as well. He's not particularly pleased by Gerard Rio stuffing it up his inside into turn number 5, and here comes Rio again. I thought he was going to return the favour at turn 7 of all places, but fortunately he thought better of it. You saw the live championship picture at the moment, which shows Alcoba extending his championship lead out to 42 points as things stand, which of course is not enough for him to secure and wrap up the 2019 Junior World Championship title here in Albacete. It will roll on to Valencia, where they have a double header there, but 42 points advantage with 50 up for grabs would put him, well, pretty much it would allow him to have one hand on that trophy. But there's a long way to go in this one. Nearly 10 laps remaining as Baltus just eyed away through on the number 99 of Tatai ahead of him. Here we go then. Through the final corner for the 9th time of asking, across the line, meaning we've got just 10 laps remaining now. Alcoba still leads the way, but here comes Tatai once more, pulls out to the slipstream, will try to edge through on brakes, but no way through this time around. Baltus himself thought he'd got the better of Tatai ahead of him, but we stay as we are with Alcoba leading the way, and that front 5 have detached themselves now. They've got about half a second to Dennis Earnshaw, who's battled his way through to 6th place. So Yamanaka and Holgado have got a little bit of breathing space behind them at the moment. We've now 9.5 laps remaining. Into turn 6, Alcoba still leading the way. Yeah, that feisty move from Rio split the pack up a bit. I'm not sure where Garcia's dropped to. Can't quite see him on the TM machine. I think he's dropped way down into 13th, yeah, so I'm not sure what happened to Garcia on that lap. But yeah, like you say, Jack, it is now Earnshaw who leads the way to try and close down the battle for the podium. It's not too far to close down, so you can expect Earnshaw to tag onto the back of this group as long as these guys keep battling away. I think they are, as we look at the Angel, the F-15 garage there in the background. Come out of turn 10 where Vultures unfortunately crashed in qualifying yesterday, but he seems no effects from it as he sits in 3rd place. I think he's lucky to get away with it. Spoke to him yesterday and said, "Oh, Barry, did you have a crash today?" He went, "Oh, yes." Where was it, a high side at turn 10? Yes. Was it a big one? And he went, "Yeah, it was." He looked, he had a real grimace on his face. I think it well and truly spat him over the top. Yeah. He was sent to the moon and back, but fortunately he was able to hold on to his front row start, and he's not really feeling any effects here whatsoever whatsoever in this podium hunt, although he is going to be pushed backwards by Yamanaka. Is he? No, he's not. Yamanaka looking up the inside of no way through. So again, these guys just starting to calm down a little bit now, and we're starting to see a bit of rhythm in this race, with Alcove leading the way, setting a pace. Tat tucked in behind him, Vultures there in third, a couple of moves just been thrown in behind. I think that's a lace view. They're starting to pick his way through the field. Another of the Angel Nieto Junior squad riders is up ahead of Haruki Noguchi. We've not mentioned he's still in the hunt for a podium here, a debut podium, is the Japanese rider.
Yeah, another good race for Noguchi. We mentioned before, Haref coming from 19th on the grid. He's doing not quite the same job, but he's well in with the battle for the podium. As we see Ernchu leading that way, the gap is pretty much down to 0 between that leading quarter. So yeah, just going back to Vultures, he was a heavy crash. I was down at turn 10 when he did. I was looking at the way, so I didn't see the start of the crash at this corner just here, but I saw the aftermath and he didn't get up straight away. It looked like he was hurt, but luckily he did get back onto his feet after about 30 seconds, but it was definitely heavy crash. He probably is feeling some effects from it, but he's put in a strong performance and exactly what he needs if he's going to have a chance.
Here comes a move from Yamanaka up the inside. He loves turn 13. He's already pulled off a couple of moves there. Couldn't add another one up the inside of Vultures, but that was as big a look as we've seen so far. Meanwhile, I'm just looking down the order. We've not mentioned Xavi Artigas yet. What a ride coming in from the young Spaniard. He's battled his way through to 16th at the moment. In fact, he's come across the line now inside the points in 15th, having started all but dead last on the grid. He's feeling the effects, no end of a huge crash on Friday, but he's trying to get himself into the podium fight. He's the second of the Leopard Junior squad riders. There he is in the back of your picture. He's going to tag on to this leading gaggle of 14 riders, and with 8 laps to go, you never know, he may well just salvage some real points to keep himself in the championship picture. We ruled him off at the start of the race thinking that it was game over, but Artigas is gritting his teeth. I'm sure that the adrenaline is helping him no end at the moment, but it's a big moment in the background. Garcia all over the dust. There's not a lot of runoff through the fast turn 7, and he used every little bit of that small runoff and a bit more as well. A big moment for Garcia, which will see him slip backwards.
Yeah, another big moment for Garcia. Yeah, going back to Artigas, good spot there, Jack. He's into the points, and you spoke to him yesterday. Didn't sound confident at all of a good race. He was hurting. It's pain in his back, but he's obviously taken some painkillers. He's gritting his teeth, and you can see him there, the second of the Leopards. Honda's in the back of your picture. He's not far off from this battle for the top 10, so expect him to continue to make moves. And if these guys keep on battling, there's every chance that Artigas can pick up some valuable points.
Talking of making moves, there goes Daniel Holgado up the inside of his teammate Yamanaka for 4th place. Alcove will lead the way though, the lap's ticking by, just 7 remaining now. And again, Tat just looks comfortable in 2nd place. You feel that, especially given the manner in which he was able to move past him in the opening laps, that he's just playing a waiting game at the moment, is Tat. We saw it in Jerez, that he had the pace to break clear, he hit the front, and he checked out. He clearly feels he doesn't have the pace here to be able to pull that sort of advantage, so he's just going to play a waiting game. The dangers of that are that you've got Vultures, Yamanaka, who's now got ahead of his teammates up to 4th, and Leachview, Holgado, and a handful of others all queuing up behind you.
Yeah, exactly, and it was about at this race distance in Jerez where we saw Tat put the hammer down and break clear, but yeah, like you say, I don't think that is going to happen in Albacete as Alcove continues to lead, and it's there we focus on the number 81 of a Leachview. His best is P5 so far this season. So he's equaling that at the moment. He's got P4, P3, P2 and P1 in his sights. So the 81 will be looking to make moves up the timing screens.
Tat again, just attached to the rear wheel of Alcove. When he goes left, Tat goes left. When he goes right, Tat does as well. He's following his every move. He's like his shadow on that Andreas Perez Foundation machine. But all the best laid plans that he's probably putting together and calculating at the moment can quickly be thrown out the window if Barry Vultures lunges up his inside and takes 2nd place away from him, which is a real possibility because Vultures is just starting to look a little bit more aggressive on board that Angel Nieto Junior team machine. And here he goes now, trying to make a move into turn 1. No way through for him, but there is the Tat. He hits the front. surely he feels now with 6 laps remaining that this is his moment to try and break clear.
Just looking there inside Alcove's box, pensive looks, you can understand that for sure. There's a championship on the line. You see a View making a move back past, I think that's Holgado it is, for 5th place. Now, what can Alcove do behind Tat Side? Tat Side leads again with 5.5 laps remaining. Oh, is that another of the talent team? It is, it's Scott Ogden. The reigning British Talent Cup champion has crashed out, unfortunately for him. Had a good ride in in his debut for the junior talent team, unlucky for him, but back at the front is Tatai from Alcove, from Vultures, from Yamanaka.
Well, Tatai's had a few laps, sat in behind Alcove, watching where he's strong, watching where he's weak. Question is now, will Alcove do the same? He hasn't got that much time left to be able to sit around and put a plan together himself and see exactly where he can pick up slight differentials. As Holgado looks behind him, taps the rear seat unit of the number 96 machine and tells Noguchi behind him just to tag along with him, so the top 5 can't break clear. Meanwhile, there's a shortcut, a long lap penalty coming the way of Nicola Carraro, another of the TM Racing factory machine bikes, who incidentally has got their team boss is Davide Giuliano, former World Superbike rider. Now obviously not a part of that championship, and he's making his way as a team boss with the Italian squad. Back at the front though, Alcove sits in second. Car park route, who's that? I think it's
Holgado.
Yamanaka.
I think it was Holgado.
Was it Holgado? One of the Estrella Galicia team riders. I think it was possibly the number 6 of Yamanaka. He was sat in 4th place and he's now been demoted back to 5th. So that's allowed the Angel Nieto junior squad to take up 3rd and 4th place. So the championship would look like this at the moment. It'd be 174 points for Alcove in 2nd place, and a race win for Tatai would put him on to 142. Closing that gap down from 37 to 32 with 2 races, 50 points up for grabs in Valencia, but still a long way to go in this one. 4.5 laps remaining, and again that's a wide line from Yamanaka, and it's just allowing this trio to break clear at a pivotal moment in the race as well. At Laceview, Holgado and Yamanaka fighting with themselves have just allowed Tatai, Alcove and Vultures to get the jump on them.
Yeah, it has, and I'm just looking at the number 24 of Arty. He's making continued good progress. He's now into the top 10, just behind Adrian Fernandez. So this is an absolutely sterling effort from the young Spaniard, who is battered and bruised from Friday's crash. But yeah, Alcove obviously want to win this and want to wrap up the championship here, because going into the last round, you never know what can happen. The pressure mounts, and the pressure will be off Tatai, so he can just go to Valencia and ride his own race. But Alcove will have the pressure on him. But is he going to make a move into turn 1? He pulls out the slipstream. Yes, he does make a move. Nice, clean pass. It's turn 1, and it's back at the lead for Alcove. And yeah, like you say, Jack, that leading trio now have a good half a second on. It's Daniel Holgado now who's making the break clear from Noguchi and Yamanaka.
Yeah, Holgado has managed to escape the attentions of the riders behind in that battle for 4th place, and see if he can close in these closing 4 laps on the leading trio. Alcoba back at the front though, Tatai in 2nd, Vultures in 3rd as someone comes down pit lane. Not sure who it was, but it's none of the riders in this leading gaggle of riders. El Petito, the younger brother of Ralph Fernandez, running wide there and onto the dusty bit of the track here in Albacete. Holgado's putting a flying lap here. It's a stormer coming in from one of the youngest men on the grid, because he's closed right in onto the rear wheel of Barry Vultures, and we've now got ourselves an 8-wheeler for Junior World Championship race victory here in Albacete with 3.5 laps remaining. Oh, it's boiling up nicely.
It really is. What a lap this is from Daniel Holgado. He's the youngest rider on the grid. Debut season in the championship, and he is looking like he wants a race win, and understandably so. He is caught right up to the back, and he's all over the back of Bowser. Is he going to make a move into turn 13? Let's have a look. He pulls out the switch. I think he is. Is he going to make a move with Tatai as well? No, he's not. But into 3rd place. What a lap from the youngster, the number 96 there. Is he going to make? Is he? I don't think he's won a race this year, if I'm correct.
His best is a 3rd place.
Best is a 3rd, yeah.
Podium finish in Valencia at the 1st round. He could compete in, because as we said at the start of the race, he was too young to get on the grid in Estoril. And now he's looking up the inside of Tatai, and he's going to make a move as well. Daniel Holgado, in the space of a lap, has gone from half a second adrift of the leading trio to now being right in contention and possibly favourite for the race victory in 2nd. Sat behind the championship leader. Well, this is the spot spoiler we didn't
Tat Side
expect, and Tat Side
through.
stuffs it up his inside, runs them both round. And that means that Vultures can Pounce to take second. Now Tat Side's back in front, and all of this squabbling is just allowing Alcove to break clear. With 2.5 laps remaining, Alcove is rubbing his hands together because he's now 3, 4, maybe even 5 bike lengths clear of these 3 behind him.
Yeah, Tat knew that Holgado got into second and he needs to beat Alcove for first place, so he bit straight back, but that's just allowed Alcove to stretch his lead. I think that's a good half a second now Alcove's got, and with 2.5 laps remaining, there's not a lot of time for Tat to make up that advantage, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Holgado isn't going to allow Tat to just have a straight run at this. So this is a big 2.5 laps coming up for the 2019 Junior Moto3 World Championship. Let's see at the end of this lap what the gap is, and if Holgado gets a nice run through turn 11, is he going to make a move of the inside Tat? This is not what Tat wants, it really isn't, and he holds it. Good for Tat that as we come round to complete another lap. Let's see what the gap is, because that's going to be important with 2 laps to go.
Into the final corner, we're going to start the penultimate lap here in Albacete. Just one Junior World Championship race of the day here as Alcove's team pull themselves out over the pit wall and wave him on as exuberantly as they possibly can. Meanwhile, Xavi Artigas is now up to 6th place. What a ride coming in from the Spaniard. He started 36 on the grid. He's made up 30 places to be 6th, and he's going to salvage at the moment, at least it looks like, 11 points. What a ride from Xavi Artigas. Brilliant stuff from the young Spaniard. It looks as if it's not going to be enough to keep his championship hopes alive, as he will slip further adrift of Jeremy Alcove. But what a performance.
I've not really got much words for that, Jack. It's a stunning performance there from the number 24 as we focus in right on cue. Yeah, less than 2 seconds away from the win after starting from 36th on the grid. Utterly sensational from the Spaniard. But yeah, it might not quite be enough for the championship to keep alive for Artigas, but back at the front, this is well and truly championship alive for Alcove and Tat, and the gap has been reeled in for Tat, so that's good for the man in 2nd place, but he needs to beat Alcove. Only 1.5 laps to go now. This is huge.
Still a couple of bike lengths. The gap between Alcove and Tat is not just there with him right now, but a good run through turn number 11 and then through 12 as well. We'll see him closing up on the rear wheel of the 52 as Holgado looks to move up into 2nd place, but no way through. So here we go into the final corner on the penultimate time. Who will be leading through here in just 90 seconds time? 1 lap to settle it in Albacete as Alcove, the championship leader, leads them over the line.
Turn 1 then, this is the first real opportunity and one of the main opportunities coming up for Tat. I don't think he's going to be close enough, or is he? A late dive up the inside. Oh,
big mistake for Tat. Nearly cleans out Daniel Holgado as well. He slips back to 4th place with Alcove leading. If he stays as he is, the championship will go on to Valencia, but if he loses one more position with Yamanaka all over his rear wheel, then that will be that, and Jeremy Alcove will be the 2019 champion. It's that important on this final half a lap. Meanwhile, can Holgado do anything to stop Alcove from wrapping up this championship? He's probably the best placed man to put any sort of challenge on Alcove in this final half a lap. He closes in through turn number 7. Can he dive up the inside through turn 8? Alcove holds a defensive line, no way through there. Meanwhile, Tat still sits there in 4th, keeping the championship alive.
Yeah, Tat's now just going to look at Holgado and pray that he is going to make a move on our Cavalry. I think Alcove, I think he is going to here into turn 10, down the back straight into turn 11, coming up Tat. That was a huge mistake at turn 1 for the Spaniard, and can Holgado take valuable points off Alcove for Tat?
Here we are into the final sector now, the fast right-hander of turn number 11, not a place you want to be making a move. Turn 12 is where you're going to line up a move. 13 is where Holgado's been so strong all race, but he can't find a way through. Alcove is so late on the brakes, he holds off any advantages. Into the final corner, Alcove leads the way. Holgado is going to try and get the run off the line and try dragging the flag. Alcove is going to hold it, and he takes the race win, a 2nd win of 2019, and the championship is all but his. He hasn't wrapped up the series just yet, with Tat coming across the line in 4th, but the points gap is 49 points going into Valencia, meaning that all he needs at the first race in Valencia is just a solitary point, and Alcove will be the 2019 Junior World Champion. He has got more than one hand on it. He's got one hand and 4 fingers on it. It is all but his now, Jeremy Alcove. A superb ride from the number 52, holding off the advantage of Holgado on the final lap to secure victory. But a pivotal mistake from Carlos Tat Side has started that final lap. Has not only cost him a win, not only cost him a podium finish, but any chances of surely winning the championship now. It will need a total disaster from Alcove for Tat Side to win the series. And you've got to take your hat off for Xavi Artigas as well. He comes across the line in 6th place, having started 36 on the grid. Brilliant stuff from Xavi Artigas, making up 30 places. He's battered, he's bruised, he's been in the walls all weekend, but what a performance, without a doubt, the ride of the day from the number 24. There's Dennis Ernchu, eventually coming across the line in 7th. But it's all about that man, a 2nd win of 2019. Consistency has been the key for him so far, but when it mattered most, he's come out on top. A 2nd win, a 2nd 25-point haul that puts him on the brink of the Junior World Championship title. Remember the name, Daniel Holgado, his best ever finish in a Junior World Championship race. Only 14 years of age, and he pushed Alcove all the way on that final lap. And it's another podium for Barry Baltus as well. The Belgian will be moving on to the World Championship in 2020, but Baltus is back onto the podium for the first time since Barcelona. Bouncing back from a disappointing couple of rounds in Aragon and Jerez. Jerez was his worst performance of 2019, but he's put it to one side and he's back onto the box with a 3rd place finish. So here comes Jeremy Alcove into Parc Fermé. Celebrations can commence. The championship is not his, but it's a matter surely now of when, not if. He just needs the solitary point in Valencia to secure the title. And his team know that, he knows that. That is a championship winning ride from Jeremy Alcove. Celebrations for Daniel Holgado, just 14 years of age, but rode with such maturity, had such a task with 3 laps remaining, but closed in on a leading group, eventually was able to pick his way through. He was lucky in the end that he wasn't cleaned out by Carlos Tata as we started the final lap. But he manages to hold on to take 2nd place and a career best finish. Super stuff. There's Alcove celebrating wildly, and rightly so as well. 25 points, 2nd of the season. Now continues a run of 7 consecutive podium finishes. And that's exactly why he's 49 points clear. You can get it booked in already. I'm sure the T-shirts will be made and readied. We'll have the gold helmet ready, as we've seen from Ethan Guevara and Edgar Pons already in this championship. It's a matter of time, really, before we see Jeremy Alcove donning the number 1 plate on that machine. He'll don the number 1 today, though, thanks to that race victory. The Leglice Academy squad celebrating wildly. He's taken that Husqvarna machine, and we don't get to say that too often, within touching distance of the Junior World Championship. Probably to his hopes of getting a 2020 World Championship ride. Nothing confirmed yet. He did have a couple of good wildcard performances for the Grassini squad whilst Gabby Rodrigo was recovering from injury. But this is the big moment on the final lap as Alcove looked to... Sorry, it was Tatai trying to squeeze up the inside of Alcove into the first corner, and well, he very, very nearly took his championship rival with him as well, but fortunately both stayed upwards. And as a result, he was able to battle through. Still donning the Estrella Galicia helmet, as that's the team that he's fought for over the past couple of years, but now with the Leglise Academy squad, he's within touching distance of the 2019 title, thanks to a second win of the year, and he's now alongside Elliott in Parc Fermé.
Jeremy, another sensational win and riding it. Now you're so close to the 2019 title. How do you feel?
Yeah, so all riders think that I will try all the race, but I think with my tires, because now here in the Albacete they changed the S tire. I don't know in the medium part to the final, I know the feeling, and I try into the calm. And finally, I think it was better to arrive in the finish with 5 riders, because Tatai and me, yes, I had best pace than other riders, but in the first lap I see a little more wind than this weekend, and I try to keep calm and lap to lap, take my pace, and then brake in the last corner full and entering in first position, thanks to my team, sponsors, and all my family.
In your own language.
Bueno, todo el mundo se pensaba que iría a tirar, pero no sabía, aquí en Albacete ha cambiado el neumático el S y no sabíamos más o menos cómo terminaría toda una carrera seguida. Entonces he decidido mantener la calma, y cuando he visto que éramos 5 pilotos he preferido ser así, porque soy un piloto más de mantener la calma y estar delante controlando, que de tirar a muerte y que se gasten los neumáticos. Entonces cuando he visto que éramos 5 digo, bueno, voy a intentar frenar un poco el grupo para ver si Tatai quedaba cuarto o quinto, y así ya en Cheste a poder ganar ya más tranquilamente el campeonato. Dar las gracias al equipo, a los sponsors y a toda la familia que ha venido aquí a apoyarme.
Gracias.
A pivotal Junior World Championship race here in Albacete with the title up for grabs. The championship leader Alkover started from pole position with Denis Erncho and Barry Baltus for company on the front row of the grid. Carlos Tatai, the man who had just picked up a double victory in Jerez a fortnight ago, had to start from the second row of the grid, but slowly but surely made his way through the field. Meanwhile, Max Cook was starting to make quite a few moves on the opening lap under the inside of Adrian Fernandez. Back at the front, Alcove led the way during the opening stages with Baltus along with him, but then Tatai managed to get in front of the Belgian and then the championship leader as well, with the pair swapping places lap after lap, especially into turn 1, where on a number of occasions Tatai was usurped to the front of the race by his nearest championship rival. Ryusa Yamanaka was one of 2 Estrella Galicia Junior Talent Team riders to fight to the front, with number 6 ahead of a wildcard performance in Motegi next weekend, was right in contention for a podium finish, as was his teammate, the youngest man on the grid, Daniel Holgado, donning the number 96. Yamanaka would eventually hit the front with a move up the inside of Tatai, but his lead didn't last long, with Tatai and Alcoba both drafting past him, and Baltus as well, as a Japanese rider moved from 1st to 4th in a split second. Alcoba retook the lead though, with Tatai still for company, and as the laps ticked away, eventually Tatai had to make a move, with that incident right there on the final lap into the first corner proving pivotal in the end. It allowed Alcoba to escape clear, and despite Holgado throwing the kitchen sink at the championship leader, he held on for a second win of 2019, and he now moves 49 points clear in the Junior World Championship with just 50 left on the table. That title is surely now all but
Vamos a
his.
empezar con el equipo ganador, la Leglise Academy. Jefe de equipo, Pedro Inocencio.
So here we go, Jeremy Alcoba out onto the podium, onto the top step. Just the second time this year he's been able to enjoy that. And the second time this year the Leglise Academy have picked up a team award as well. Huge celebrations from them, I'm sure, tonight in Albacete Town Centre. Third place, another podium, bouncing back from a difficult couple of rounds for the Belgian Barry Baltus. Ahead of his move, well, he'll be jumping on Barry Baltus' seat in 2020. That man there, Daniel Holgado, just 14 years of age. What a talent he is. Certainly a star of the future, that is without question. But never mind a star of the future, a star of right here and now. Jeremy Alcoba, his second win of 2019, and with it, edging inches closer to the Junior World Championship title. Not that he needs pleasing any further, but he's just received a cheque for €1,000, courtesy of Repsol as well. Should just make that smile on his face even wider. And now he, I'm sure, will enjoy the Spanish national anthem.
Aplauso para ese podium. Ahora sí, el ritual nos dirá que brindemos.
Not the first time and not the last time that we'll be seeing Jeremy Alcoba on the top step of a podium, whether it be in the Moto3 Junior World Championship or in the Grand Prix paddock in the near future. Another sterling ride from the Spaniards, who now takes a 49-point and almost unassailable advantage into the final two races in Valencia as they spray the fizzy water. As we now have to wait a few weeks before the finale at the circuit Ricardo Tormo. As we see the final results from the Circuito de Albacete, and it is Alcoba, your championship leader, who wins here in Spain. Daniel Holgado a stunning ride to second, and Barry Vultures third. Tatai fourth. It looks like it is all but championship over for the Spaniard, but nevertheless a good ride with Yamanaka. Arty stunning ride from the Spaniard.
Further down the field, Davide Pizzoli, part of the Leopard squad, picks up 12th. Junior talent teams, Max Cup just missing out on a points finish, which is a great shame for the young Brit. Fenton Seabright over the Brits there in 23rd on his debut in this Junior World Championship. Kawakami finishing just outside of the top 20. Haruki Noguchi in the end, well, I didn't see what happened to him. He was well in contention for a top 10 finish, but something clearly got caught up in a bit of an incident, did Noguchi, which means that he finished way outside of the top 20 in the end, with your reigning British Talent Cup winner Scott Ogden unfortunately crashing out, as did the other junior talent team riders, Mario Adji and Billy Van Erde as well. So in terms in the championship, well, as we said, he's got one hand, four fingers, and he's got the impression of his thumb on that championship title now. 49 points adrift with just 50 up for grabs. I'm sure the t-shirts have been pressed as we speak, Elliot. Unfortunately, despite the performances of Tatai and the super impressive ride from Artigas, they're now surely out of contention. But that fight for second and third in the championship, of course, will go down to the wire as well.
It will. Artigas' magnificent ride today. It looked all but lost for Artigas. It looks like he was just going to have to cruise around and take what he could, but an absolutely sterling effort from the Spaniard means he now has a real chance of taking second off Tato in the championship. And well, you never know what can happen at the final round of the season. There's still mathematical chance that Tatai can win the title, but
it is. It's not over until the fat lady sings, as they say, and I'm sure that Carlos Tatai will be speaking to as many large women as he can possibly find to try and have this championship going right down to the wire. But as things stand, it looks as though that man right there is going to pick up the Junior World Championship title in Valencia in 4 weeks' time, thanks to his second win of 2019 here in Albacete. He was forced to work hard for it, but goodness gracious me, did that mean a lot to him. Jeremy Alcoba, a Junior World Championship race winner here at the Circuito de Albacete.